Gallo, KC Thunder. Mark, some of you guys have talked about sort of taking pride in being able to win a lot of different ways, including a game that was a little bit more of a rock fight instead of a shootout. What did you think of the way that you guys accomplished that tonight?
Yeah, I thought that was a really, really good, well-earned win by us. And, defense I thought was on it. I thought we did a really good job on Banchero. Put him in the crowd, made him earn everything. Forced them to plan B. And then I thought offensively we really generated great shots for a lot of the floor game and recognized what we needed to do. When shots weren't falling, I thought we offensively rebounded well. We had some critical ones down the stretch. And we played faster in the third quarter to try to rev that up a little bit. So I thought the recognition by the team was really good tonight as well.
It looked like Paolo maybe gave you a look when you subbed Lou in at the exact same time as him. What do you sense that opposing teams' players feel when Lou is on the floor guarding them?
Well, he knew Lou was coming in, so I don't know what he was feeling, but he definitely knew.
Mark, Shea had 6 and 1s, which ties a record since they've been charting that record. Aside from the fact that he's a real good player and he's a good finisher, what allows a guy to do that?
A much better qualified person to answer that is him. But one thing I do think he's learned is how to get the gather. Once he senses he's going to get contact, he gets the ball gathered and can get shots on the rim, which gives you a chance for an and one, but it also gives you shooting fouls. And I think some of the best guys with the gather rule, the best guys, have a sense for how to do that. And it's something that he definitely has learned. I think Chet's got a good instinct for it. I think Jalen's learning it right now. So, it gives him a chance for some of those plays. Some of those were really tough.
Yeah. And then some of those plays with him, he's been so good. He's so good at involving other guys. He seems to be an even better playmaker this year. But how does a guy strike a balance between knowing, hey, things are bogged down a little maybe, and I just need to go do it, and then, getting it to other guys at other times?
I think that in an ideal world, it's off it early, early in the advantage, early in possessions, try to activate everybody else. And then, one of the luxuries of having a guy that can score like he can is on the possessions where you stall out, or on the possessions where the defense plays really good defense, he can still manufacture a pretty efficient shot. And that's a major luxury when you look at NBA possessions, when you get to the second half of the shot clock and nothing's really stirred up. When you got a guy that can go get one like he can, it keeps a lot of possessions alive for you.
Mark, and talk about the Shea's and ones. It feels like so many of those, and just so many of the impossible shots he hits are, without any balance at all, or without proper footing. I just wonder, in your coaching career, maybe just in your entire time viewing basketball throughout your life, can you remember seeing a guy that needed so little balance, so little proper footing to make some of those shots?
I think it's a testament to what he's done with his body, to be honest with you. I think a lot of that stuff comes down to your base, your core strength. And that's something, if you look back, it's funny, I was with Grant Gibbs earlier, and we were watching a play from my first year, and he was on the court, and it's just amazing looking back and seeing what he's done physically and all the incremental work. And when you see him every day and every year, you don't really notice it. When you look back to when he was a rookie and in his second year and third year, he's definitely invested there and has done it consistently. He does it in the summer. And I do think some of the stuff you're talking about is a byproduct of the way that he's invested and attacked the program.
When you look back at the tape from his first year, what did you see?
I saw a play that we used to run for Horford that I was thinking about using, but I didn't use it tonight.
And in building a team around shooting and shooting with the best in the league, I imagine that's bound to become such a big part of your identity. But on a night like tonight, where you go, I think 7 for 35 or whatever from 3, I wonder what you've seen from this team in terms of building a separate identity on nights where the ball doesn't go in.
It's not a separate identity. I think it's just a recognition, like I said to Nick, that if shots aren't falling, first of all, stay the course, which I thought we did. Keep doubling down and keep getting good shots, and trust that they're going to fall eventually, and be willing to lose that way. Be willing to lose with the right shots. But also, it's not a different identity. It's just doubling down on pace, like I said, coming out of halftime, getting on the offensive glass, which has not been a strength of ours, but has been an emphasis lately. And I thought we did a good job of that.
Mark, you guys just had a 10-game streak of shooting 50 or more from the field in tonight. First team since 92, 93 to do that. During that streak and even tonight, you guys have been getting some great looks and just didn't fall as much tonight. What do you feel like has been one of the biggest keys for you guys generating all those great looks?
A combination of things. You know, it's first of all creating advantages. You know, it's hard to get a good look. It's not just ball movement. You know, you have to create an advantage, and you know, being sharp in our actions and creating an initial advantage, and then moving it out of the advantage when there's not a score available or a shot available, and then those guys being ready to play quickly on the catch. And the team's done a great job of that. It's, you know, we've had a very unselfish spirit really the whole season, and they work together to find the best shots, and they work together to find the best advantages. And when you do that repeatedly, possession by possession, you can get great shots when you have talented players. We have talented players.
And a lot of that kind of seems like it's from the gravity that Shea creates. Is there a way that you guys can practice that? Like, do you guys, like, when in practice, do you corral Shea anytime? Or because how do you, I guess, game plan for 3 or 4 guys collapsing on Shea and then other guys being in the exact right spot for him to dish it out to him?
Yeah, I mean, it's everything. You know, it's first of all the guys. It's not just him. You know, his gravity certainly is helpful, but he's really, the last couple of games he's really screened. He's gotten his layups on screens, but you know, the other thing is like the guys that are creating the collision with him, that are in the action with him, doing so with pace, confusing the defense, using different guys in that, guys recognizing it in transition quickly. You know, it all has to do with it. And then, you know, over that time, even when he's been off the court, we've been able to do that. So I would you know, argue that he's as high gravity as he is, we've been able to do it stylistically across the roster and with a lot of different guys.
Shea's proven himself to be one of the best shot makers in the league. You hear a lot of the oohs and ahs from the crowd, but you're pretty even keel on the sideline. Is it ever hard to like contain reactions to a good or bad play?
No.
Just like the Athletic. You guys drive the ball more than any team in the league, like have for several years now. Was that something that was born out of like just having like this personnel where it's like, hey, we have these guys that drive the ball, or was that like, hey, this is the way we want to play, and this is how we're going to play? Because I mean, there's other teams that have players that like to drive the ball, are good at driving the ball, but like, where did that style of play, like, where was it like birthed from?
I think more the former. Like, it wasn't like this vision, you know, because you don't know who's going to be on the team when you first start out. So it's really just like, you know, how do you maximize what you have? And everything we're doing now has evolved to this point, you know, so like the cutting is something that we had players on the team that they weren't guarding, they were just loading up on Shea, and it's like, okay, you know, where do we space them, you know, and we learn different spacings from that. We learn the cutting, you know, the cutting triggers and how to activate that from that, you know, experience. The guard-to-guard stuff was born out of, you know, having shooting fives, undersized fives, non-fives playing the five. And it's just like, you know, step by step, it's just we've run into a hurdle and figured out a way to solve it. And the stuff that's good, we keep and we you know, cultivate. And that just becomes your system. And a year from now, you know, our system's going to look different because different things will get thrown at us that we'll have to adapt to. We'll trip on different things that'll be effective. And we just want to be like an ever-evolving, problem-solving, you know, group, players, coaches, everybody. And we've done a good job to that point. But it wasn't like something like we drew up on a napkin 4 years ago.
Was this a problem-solving win? Because if you shoot your normal threes, you probably went pretty comfortable, but you found a way to win anyway.
Yeah, and they'd probably say the same thing. I mean, there was like covers on the hoop in the first half. So yeah, it was definitely that. That's what I was saying earlier. I thought we did a great job of kind of manufacturing a win there out of a night that we didn't shoot it particularly well. You know, we did it with pace, did it with rebounding. And I think we stayed the course with our style despite the fact that the ball wasn't going, which is critical for us. You got to be able to stay with it.
And when the shots aren't falling, do you talk about it, or do you just run any pet plays, like when Isaiah comes out there to kind of get him an open look, kind of break the ice, and just keep playing?
I talk about it, you know, because I think it's a recognition thing, and they feel it. You know, it's not like, you know, it's like, hey, we're 2 for whatever, we're getting great looks, let's keep getting the same ones. when you're having a bad shooting night, I try to draw shooting plays. I tried to get Chet one in the corner. I tried to get Isaiah one there late. Because it reinforces that, hey, like, these are the shots we want. Let's keep going for it. So, but the guys did a great job, like I said, with the rebounding, the pace, the execution to offset obviously a rough shooting night.
I think there's some plus minus stats, whatever. But beyond statistically, like, it's looked better when Micic is in the game lately. He just looks a little more comfortable. Are you seeing anything different about him the past few weeks?
Yeah, Sam made this. He said a statement early in the season, and it stuck with me. Like, he needs to catch up to the pitching, you know, and he's so cerebral. Micic, not Sam. Sam's cerebral too, but I'm referring to Micic. Micic is so cerebral that you just kind of trust he's going to get there. I mean, you see the guy play in Europe, and he's a wizard. And so, you know, it took him a minute, I think, to catch up to the speed of it, athleticism. We were also playing well without him in the mix, so that was a reason that he didn't get an opportunity. But, you know, we saw a window there coming out of Christmas with that second group that we thought, you know, some secondary playmaking off the ball would be helpful for them, and that's proven to be true. And I'm really impressed with how he's competed defensively as well. You know, he's obviously not, you know, Bruce Bowen, but he's really given effort on that end. He's executing coverages. He's playing physical. He's getting to the ball. You know, he's doing the things he needs to do on that end as well.
Anybody else? We'll go last one to Andrew in the front.
Come on, Joe, get off the sidelines.
Come on, Joe. You guys are tied for first in the West.
Yep.
Do you ever think that you're maybe coaching the Western Conference All-Stars? You ever think about that?
No. Same answer. So, yep. See you,
Coach.